See what we get. Let's fucking go. Hope Matt will give us the best play. What's up, Biso Kunwar? What's up? Can you hear me? Are we live here? Let me know if we actually are live. I see the countdown going, and I just saw your comment. So let me know if you can actually hear me. See what we got here. Fucking go. Damn right. I didn't do any intro music today because what I usually have is my Freestyle Fridays. So this is no Freestyle Friday. This is just straight AMA.
Live off on the cusp.
Exactly. Dig in. Let me see. Where is this? I'm still not familiar with Streamlabs. There we go. Now I'm back up. Let me see if you guys can hear me in the chats. I'm going to look at this on my phone real quick because I didn't actually sign in to view the chat live stream. And I think if I try to connect on there, it'll probably do something stupid and kick me off. All right, it says 18 watching. All right, can you guys hear me? Drop me something in the chat. Let me know. And if you can hear Matt. Audio is good. Yo. Deer Slayer. Cool. So that's for me and Matt, right, Deer Slayer?
Deer Slayer in the building.
Yes, sir. And Jason DARPA.
JD. J DARPA probably got a drink. It's 1:00 Eastern Standard Time, but I know DARPA probably has a drink in his hand.
Hey, it's what do they call that? Like beer 30 somewhere.
Hello. It's happy hour somewhere for someone.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. All right. Well, we got this. We live. It's right on the dot. You guys know I try to start on time, man. That's that old military side of me.
Gotta respect that.
Exactly. Even though I've been living overseas, and it does not work that way at all, man. That's a quick way to get you humbled. Do not take your U.S. Ideologies and expectations with you outside of the U.S., man. Leave that shit at the door.
Yeah, they got island time, right?
Oh man, they got all sorts of different stuff, man. All sorts. But without further ado, man, we're gonna jump right in this. I ain't gonna do no intro. You guys know, anybody follow my channel, you know what I'm about and why I'm here. And then you also know that covering this with I was about to say Moonshot Max, man. Hustleman Matt. My bad. I'm looking over here on the Twitter and see Moonshot Max. So this is all about DripX and trying to get you guys' questions answered. And you guys sent me quite a few on Twitter and then my Telegram and on the YouTube page itself. So I'm not even going to bother with the backstory of Hustleman Matt. You guys can get that from other channels. Even I had it on here when I discussed with him before, but he's been in the space for a while, been in Drip for a while. But I'll let you give a quick intro, but just more so about DripX and versus like where you've been from. Because real quick caveat, I keep telling people, don't trust, verify. So all the stuff we usually go into is always trying to get people to give us like, well, who you are, what you did, what your backstory is, why we should trust you. It's like, well, that just defeats the narrative, in my opinion. So the blockchain is here to be trustless. So none of your accolades and history actually matters. I mean, it speaks to your character of your person, but for somebody that doesn't know you at all that does actually, and I fell victim to this, is give false hope because you ride off of those coattails of other people's opinions and stuff. So I'll hand the mic over to you, Hustleman Matt. Just let the people who know you are, I guess, and about DripX, but not so much the verify side. Not so much the trusted side, but just the verify side, kind of some projects and stuff like that.
For sure. So, I'm Hustleman Matt. I'm one of the co-founders of DripX. So this is a great opportunity because we do have a lot of people who are familiar with the team, but this being a new project, there's also a lot of new people as well. So that's good. There's some people that don't know about the team, like you said. So it's always good getting a fresh audience I've been in the space for a little while now on the development side. For about 2 years now, we've been developing different projects. This one we specifically targeted the drip community. The team, we're heavily involved in drip. I was in drip since day one. So we want to do something to really hit that target audience, throughout our different projects. A lot of our core community members were also in drip. So this was a project that we really targeted to the drip community. So it's great seeing some people who are, not so familiar with drip, not so familiar with the team, expanding the audience and our user base as well. But that's kind of, just I guess a quick overview of me. We've done a handful of projects now. We have developed a bit of trust with our core audience, for the projects that we have developed. And, some of those are here still around, people interacting here daily with those. So just kind of led us to build up this audience to this point to be able to launch this project.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, we're going to actually get into some of those old projects. So that's good that you brought that up, get you to give us some insight on that and a couple questions later. And shout out to, we got the DeFi Club in the building, and JMO, I'll get to your question about the contract after we go through a couple of these first. And DeFi Club says, Matt is trustful. That's good to know. But I tell you guys that are watching me, don't trust me. Like, I try to be honest, try to be transparent, show you behind the scenes and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, man, this place, the blockchain
DeFi,
is
the crypto space
exactly,
we live in.
exactly.
So again, we've kind of, shout out to Chris, DeFi Club. We've developed some relationships. So we have built a level of trust, but at the end of the day, you have to do your own research. You have to be comfortable with what you invest in, and also ultimately, take responsibility in what you invest in, because anything can happen. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. So that's a great segue into, since you mentioned this, I'm sure some people know what DripX is. And then, of course, there are those that don't. So I know, at least for my channel, because I didn't get into Titan, give us like a rundown of what DripX is and how it works in simple terms, especially for those that didn't get into Titan X. So if they have zero understanding of Titan X and how you guys rewrote it and what the mechanics are, what exactly is DripX? And more so specifically from the perspective of a OG drip bag holder, because that's really who cares about this.
Yeah, so essentially DripX is a layer 2 on top of the drip token. There is I guess, to kind of understand the history of drip, it was an ROI platform that launched in 2021. I had a really great run up during the bull market. Saw some crazy all-time highs, paid people passive income daily. A lot of people won with it. A lot of people, lost money with it, getting in at the top. Similar to, if you would have bought Bitcoin at the top, you're probably down on your investment right now, right? So, similar story. But with that, there's a lot of emotion, a lot of nostalgia attached to drip. Whether people love it or hate it, there's some type of emotional attachment to it. So people have some type of relationship with drip. Since then, it's come down to its all-time low. I think it hit 1 cent at its all-time low. It's I want to say it's sitting around 3 or 4 cents right now. And since the mechanism that was paying out the daily passive income has quote unquote retired, it has created an opportunity for other developers to build on top of drip, because there's still a community within drip. So that's pretty much, what we're tapping into is that community. There has been a token which omits some of the taxes in the original token, which is Wrap Drip, and that's going to be a focal point in the DripX project where we're leveraging. We're using Wrap Drip because it doesn't have some of the taxes associated with the drip token, which gives us more flexibility as developers. So essentially, DripX is it's a project that is inspired by Titan X. Titan X launched a little over 3 months ago. I want to say it's maybe going on 4 months or so on the Ethereum network. Had a lot of success. It has a lot of community members within it. And we saw it as an opportunity to, take some of the mechanics and leverage those, some of its success on top of the drip, token. So what we're doing is we're leveraging Wrap Drip, which will be the base liquidity for DripX. DripX is going to be a token that provides high inflation or high APRs through inflationary measures. So The token will mint to pay out rewards. You'll be able to virtually mine the token. And then it also has some deflationary mechanisms as well, where you can stake the token. And we also have a buy and burn mechanism to kind of mitigate some of the high inflation through the rewards, and then deflationary through the staking and the buy and burn protocol. So essentially, it's a token that we can leverage to potentially create some passive income with, but using it to be on top of the Drip network ecosystem. We're tapping in the community and also helping out the Drip token.
Awesome. So I think that's a solid summary, Phil. In conclusion, I guess, or the TLDR, so DripX is a new token, like you mentioned. So it will be its own token in this new ecosystem, but the base layer of liquidity will be coming from WrapDrip and BNB. Is that correct?
Correct. So the DripX token will be backed by WrapDrip, and then WrapDrip is backed by BNB. That's correct.
Okay, perfect. All right. So let's get to the next one. All right, it's kind of similar to what we just talked about, but what DeFi projects inspired DripX outside of TitanX? What similarities are there for investors to look at for understanding? Now, I'll give some context on this. This was from an assumption I made. You can tell me if I'm wrong, where I was reading. I forgot where it was in here, but it's about a contract or something owning a certain percentage of the DripX tokens. Yeah, this here. And for those that have been around long enough, this sounds similar to Bertha in the Elephant Money ecosystem. Was this a similar idea? Did you guys get some? Am I correct on that? Like an analogy, or what are some of the other projects that you've added into this, and what does that actually imply in this? Not this one. It's somewhere else where, yeah, the smart contract, 6-7%. So explain those two.
So that goes towards more so the buy and burn mechanism. So the project was inspired.
Oh, I lost audio. You guys still hear Matt? We still live? Matt looks like he just disappeared. Is it just me? Can you guys still hear me? Are you still there? Somebody hit me up in the chat. Let me know. Because looks like we lost Matt. Oh, you guys lost me. Nope. What? I need more context in that. Let me see. You dipped out for a little while. Matt, are you back? Can you guys hear? We can hear you. Just, yeah. So you dipped out somehow. I don't know what happened. Okay. Right when you got started. So just start back over from the top.
No worries. So we're good. Everybody can hear me. We're all set.
Yeah, I can see you again on the side channel, and I can hear you. So I think they can as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I was essentially saying that this project, again, was inspired by TitanX. TitanX was also an evolution of a couple of more projects. One being Hex with the ladder staking. So I know a lot of people may be familiar with Hex. It created, a lot of, success stories, again, back in the bull market. So TitanX was is the evolution of Hex. And then another project they were influenced by is Zen. I'm not as familiar with the Zen protocol. I never got into it. It does have a lot of moving parts and different mechanics within it. So those are two projects that you could potentially look forward to kind of see the evolution of how we've gotten to this point. Those two projects, I guess you can say, inspired TitanX. And then we drew inspiration from TitanX to create DripX. That particular mechanism that you were referring to, that goes towards our buy and burn pool. Essentially, through our mining mechanism, where people will take BNB to create miners. Those miners will pay out DripX token rewards. A percentage of that BNB is being dispersed. So all of that BNB doesn't go directly into the liquidity of the DripX token. Rather, it's dispersed into a buy and burn pool and another payout pool, different payout pools to pay out the staking rewards. So those were kind of more so inspired from TitanX. I like it because it kind of gives a like a delayed gratification almost. One thing that we've experienced as a team with coming out with new products and stuff to support, our token in the ecosystem is when we see a huge spike in value and volume, and that chart goes up. It's fun because everybody's excited. They see that price appreciation, but it's usually met with a lot of sell pressure because people want to take profits.
Right.
So these mechanisms where we disperse the BNB that's put in the system kind of slows that down a little bit, where it kind of allows the funds to be distributed in more of like a even, even kill type of way where it doesn't really spike the value of the token, which kind of helps regulate the price, longer term.
Okay. All right. I think we'll touch on some of that and some other questions about sustainability, bank runs, things of that nature that we've seen from other projects. That's good that you mentioned that. We're going to jump to the community here. Quick question. JMO, not financial advice. Where will the DripX contract be posted first on launch? Telegram, ?
Yeah, it'll likely be in Telegram. So we do have the launch plan coming up for Thursday. We haven't announced the time yet. The team usually likes to launch between 11 and 12 Eastern Standard Time. So it's probably going to be within that time frame. We haven't announced the official time. What we'll probably do is get into like a voice chat, maybe an hour or so before launch, just to kind of give everybody a brief overview about what's about to happen. We'll likely mute the channel so that way people aren't sending links and different things like that. You got to be really careful with that. That happens quite often. Some of that is outside of the team's control, but we try to at least give people a heads up, especially with hype launches. So we'll get into the chat and shut it down maybe an hour before we launch, and then we'll announce the contract address and stuff like that in the Telegram. We'll pin it up to the messages from there.
So you guys heard it first. That's some alpha for Thursday, basically. So set your clocks around 10 to 11 Eastern for the 1 hour countdown, essentially, for a voice chat, and then they will let the contracts go loose. So be in the Telegram if you're not.
And we'll have a countdown timer in the Telegram also, so it's a little bit easier. I know a lot of people on different time zones and stuff like that. Right. So we'll have that in place also.
Cool. Next question from Animal Farm Marcus. So the miners start 1 week after launch, and the DripX token is available this Thursday?
No, everything is going to be live on launch. So you'll be able to create miners as soon as we launch using BNB. And you'll also be able to buy and trade the token. So the token will be tradable using WrapDrip. So you'll be able to buy it on the open market with WrapDrip. You'll also be able to stake it. So you'll be able to stake those DripX tokens to earn a portion of the BNB that's being dispersed to the different payout pools from the miners that are being created.
Going to segue a bit. So in regards to buying, that's going to be directly on PancakeSwap, or is that going to be also on the actual website?
The easiest, simple way is going to be PancakeSwap. We are looking to integrate like an embed swap on the dApp for convenience. Okay. So we should have it on the dApp for people as well, but on day one, also be on Pancake. Yeah, on day one, it should be good to go. We just had a team meeting, before this AMA, so that was one thing we discussed. So that should be good to go. I also been in contact, previously with the developer on AI Drip.
I'm just about to ask that.
I was just about to ask that. Of WrapDrip. I know he goes by Quinn. I know Quinn. Yep. He might be on vacation or holiday. So, but he's chatted with me and told me to let him know once it's live, because he also wants to put it on AI Drip as well. So that'll be another place in the future where you'll be able to swap DripX tokens.
Yeah, that'd be great. Something like this. They did a great job with this, because we're kind of segueing again, but there will be a lot of arbitrage opportunities within the DripX ecosystem. So is there any plans for something similar to this mechanic? I know this is created by Quinn and his team, either integrated here or on whatever the DripX URL will actually be.
Yeah, so we had a brief conversation. Just he's saying, "Hey, give me a heads up. Let me know."
It cut you out again. I see what it's doing. Collab Lab is doing that. One second, guys. I think it's actually Streamlabs that's kicking Matt out. This time I caught it and saw it, but I got to give him a new link to get him back. So give me 1 second to pull this over here. Don't know why. All right, just had to type up a message to him, but we'll get him back here shortly in Telegram, and then he'll kick back over. I don't know why it's doing that on the Streamlabs software. I don't see a setting or anything for that. It's real weird. All right, I can see you again.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that one.
Yeah, something's something on the, like, I literally watched you disappear from the screen over there, and then I have to go back in the Collab Lab and like add you back. I don't know, because I'm not doing anything on this side, so probably something I didn't pay attention to with the settings, or because it's the free version of Streamlabs. Maybe they have like a time limit, kind of like the old Zoom software. All right, he's back in. So you guys can see him, right? I see him on my mobile. All right, go back ahead.
Yeah, so I was just saying a summary. I haven't had too much conversation, just a brief chat with Quinn on Telegram. This was prior to us having a set launch date, but he does want to potentially add DripX on the AI Drip UI just to make it more convenient for some of the users, and then that's something that we could also maybe look into embedding on the DripX DApp also, just for convenience. So we'll see how that goes. That'll probably be post-launch sometime, but that would be cool to kind of have that updated.
Okay, cool. We're going into community questions now, so I'm just kind of going off the cuff. We got Animal Farm Marcus. If Matt can reveal, has he decided on a max mint per day, the improvement from Titan X? So this is, I guess, with the mining, right?
Yeah, so that's actually a really good question. That's something that we've updated. So this is new alpha information on the Drip Coach
Alpha
here. So one thing that we did want to make different from the Titan X protocol is the amount of tokens that can be minted per given day. So what we saw initially with Titan X, there's a lot of popular days, I guess mentally for people, 30 days, 15 days, 60 days, 90 days, right. That we tend to choose a lot of. So on those days we saw a lot of miners coming to expiration, people claiming a lot of tokens, and a lot of supply being minted in a given day. So what we wanted to do was kind of control that a little bit more, where so that a certain amount of tokens can't be minted in a given day. Initially, we decided that would be around 150 billion tokens. As we kind of been testing a little bit more, we did raise that a little bit. So we've updated the white paper a little bit with that. So the amount is going to be 300 billion tokens in a given day.
Wow.
So what is going to happen is at the time of creation, if there's a certain day, let's say, a lot of people may choose day 30. If there is a lot of tokens that are going to be coming out up to that threshold on that given date, then you will need to choose a new date. You might have to push it back to day 31 or day 32. So this is going to happen at the time of creating your miner.
Right. Okay.
So that way we can kind of control. We'll know at any given date that a certain amount of tokens will be coming into circulation.
Okay. And in that regard, so if that's the cap, is there a minimum, and or is there also the ability, say if the cap isn't reached, for someone to later on still go back in and pick that same day? Or does it like close or anything like that?
Well, yeah, it just depends. So like, obviously if it's day, 15 of the protocol, you won't be able to do, you won't be able to expire on day 13. So it'll be from that day. So if it's today, if it's day 15 and you choose 15 days, then that would be day 30 of the protocol.
Okay.
For instance. So there's no minimum per se, but there's that threshold of any amount that can come out on that date.
Okay. And is that something in regards to, like, for me, like the dig into like the blockchain and all that stuff? How would someone track? Is that something to be in Dune Analytics, something on like the Binance BSC scans? It could be on the DApp itself to see how many are actually coming out per day, aside from creating your miner and it's saying, okay, it's been reached a threshold, pick day 31. Can you see these days?
Yeah, so that's something that'll probably be like similar to like a Dune Analytics, where you can kind of see, those type of information. I know there's a lot of knowledgeable people in the community who like to dig and find out that type of information.
Right.
So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people. That was a cool thing I noticed with the Titanx community. There were some other people who kind of developed other dApps to kind of help people read these type of analytics. So I'm sure, that'll be something that the community can dive into also and be able to leverage.
Awesome. I'm assuming the answer for this is no, but DeFi Club said, is there a pre-sale for the token?
No. So yeah, we didn't do a pre-sale or any type of raise for this project. So the project essentially is being funded from the team as far as the creation of the project, audits, providing initial liquidity. So that's all kind of being funded by the team. And then, once we launch, it'll be essentially a fair launch. Everybody will have the same opportunity to buy the token at launch.
Awesome. I always like that. Animal Farm Marcus, will developers from RapDrip, I guess Quinn, renounce the keys at some point? Are you in contact with them, keeping DripX liquidity safe?
Yeah, so that's a good question as well. I have had some conversation. I know that question has popped up, and Quinn has openly answered that question as well. From my understanding, he has held on to the keys for the purposes of RapDrip being cross-chain. So if they expand to different chains, obviously need some type of access to be able to do that. I know right now it's on Pulse Chain, it's on Ethereum, obviously BFC, and I believe Arbitrum. So, those things, I don't know if there's any other plans for any other chains, maybe AVAX or something like that, but that's kind of been the answer that I've seen from community questions. And then, just having, I guess, kind of a fail safe for us if something were, to happen with RapDrip, it being backed by the liquidity. We'll also have, some tokens set aside in like the Genesis wallet that we can leverage, for liquidity if something like that were to happen, where it won't be necessarily, attached, and we can maybe pivot and add BNB liquidity or something in that regard. So, that's kind of like a fail safe, I guess you could say, if that type of situation would occur.
So in layman's terms, for the non-techno savvy people, this kind of leans into that don't trust but verify. So there is a potential black swan event in regards to RapDrip, being that the keys are still not renounced. So that means that something could happen to that actual liquidity, potentially. Not saying that Quinn is malicious or anything like that, but that vulnerability exists, right? That attack vector does exist until the keys are renounced. Is that correct?
Yep, that is correct. So, that's, those are some of the things that you need to understand kind of going into it. And then, as well, even with any token, like the drip token, if Forex were to say that he wanted to, pull the token or do something like that, we still have that type of risk as well. So those risks are, prevalent. So you just have to understand that and, be comfortable with that if you plan to invest.
Exactly. Appreciate the transparency. All right, let's see. Dini Easy. I'm not sure. Will the DripX price on BNB coincide with the DripX price on Pulse Chain?
So DripX isn't on post chain, so it's only a BSC. You might be talking about Wrap Drip, maybe.
Yeah, maybe Wrap Drip, but those are separate. So that's where the arbitrage opportunity always exists. So you can already see that now. Wrap Drip sitting at 5 cents. 2 different pools of Wrap Drip on Pulse, and 2 different pools of Wrap Drip actually on Binance as well. So yeah, those will never coincide identically, but of course, arbitrage wise, it'll be there. Yeah. Hope that answers your question, D Neezy. Let's see. If it changed, how would rewards work if the 1% daily function based on user deposits would work then? I'm confused. Please explain. I'm also confused, John.
I'm not sure about that one.
How would rewards work if the 1% daily function based on user deposits would work then? I guess he's talking about the OG drip, because you don't have a 1% daily function.
Yeah, so if he's referring to the faucet on drip, that function has been turned off. Exactly.
Right.
So the drip token no longer pays inflationary rewards through minting through the faucet. That's been I guess that's been about 4 months now, getting close. So we've kind of, I don't know if you've been up on it, Coach, but we haven't seen as much minting lately. It seems like it's becoming less and less. Mm-hmm. So less people are claiming whatever they had left in the faucet. Right. So that's kind of, that's some of the premise behind why we're developing for drip now, is because it's kind of a new age, so to speak, kind of like a fresh start with the token. We've seen it hit its lows, and we're speculating with community development that it could potentially increase in value with the community backing it, and no more inflationary mechanisms with the drip token. So
I guess that's what he's kind of getting at, because we talked about that potential attack vector with Forex. So I mentioned this on my channel multiple times that, Forex still owns the keys, and he's definitely not going to be giving them up. And I would not put it past him, if the community were to rally and create something sustainable with this, that a new quote unquote improvement to drip could be introduced. So reference what John said, that could mean, yes, that maybe not so necessarily a 1% daily, but there's nothing to stop Forex from creating another inflationary drip token. And that would 100% affect the entire Wrap Drip ecosystem, because now you'd have that exchange still available. So if more drip is being created and drip is matched with Wrap Drip, well, then that creates an inflation problem that, like we just talked about, an attack vector, basically a vulnerability that nobody has any control over. So there would have to be a huge pivot within this new ecosystem being built. So all we can hope for is that Forex is indeed done building with drip, and that he's burnt out and that doesn't take place. But that is something to keep in mind. And like I tell you guys, don't trust, verify, and you can verify Forex's track record on drip yourself. All right, I'm going to go back to the other questions, because now a lot of them have popped in. So I want to come through these basically. But it's good to have you guys in the audience. Appreciate you popping in and chatting, of course. But let's see if some of these get answered as we go through, and maybe pop up some new ones. So can you explain the mining power with greater but simpler detail? How much power makes a difference, and how much power does power cost extra per day?
So that's a good question. So when you create your virtual miner, again, you're going to be using BNB. The max power miner will cost 1 BNB to start. So we're incentivizing people to, of course, get in early. Earlier, the earlier that you get in is going to pay out more. Each day it'll get progressively harder to create miners. It'll be at a rate of 0.08%. So it's going to be small, but each day, little by little, it's going to cost more money to create miners. That cap will be capped off at 10 BNB. So over time, it could get as expensive as 10 BNB to create a miner. So again, we incentivize people to get in earlier, so you're paying less for miners. 100% miner or max power miner is that 1 BNB. Some people may say, hey, I don't have a BNB to create a miner. So essentially what we're doing, we're we're basically giving people opportunity to create their own budget with miners. So for instance, 1% of a max miner will be 0.01 BNB.
Okay.
So that's the cheapest that you can start to make a miner. And then of course, the rewards are going to be a little bit less if you're spending less.
Right.
And then it's also based on, the amount of time that you decide to mine the rewards for. So longer, more and longer pay is better, essentially.
Right.
But you can come in and kind of play with it a little bit with how much your budget is, how much BNB you had to spend on a miner, so that you could still participate and not necessarily have to spend 1 BNB to get started with the miners.
Okay, cool. That works out. All right. This one I can probably answer, but we'll see what you say. Will there be a tutorial on the dApp to explain the protocol and help others better understand the ecosystem, or will you reference community videos to cover this? I think I added this into the question.
Yeah, so initially it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be a lot of community videos. Some influencers have experience with Titan, so they may have some strategies. There are a few videos out already where you can go in and maybe get some strategies. As the project comes out, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people creating content, showing you how they're creating miners or how they're staking, how they're buying DripX. So there's going to be an influx of community-driven tutorials and videos. But, that doesn't mean necessarily that we can't incorporate some like tutorial style videos on the dApp in the future as well. So that might be something that we can add on to the dApp just to kind of help with onboarding and, helping new users who may be fresh or don't understand how to get started. So that's something that, we could potentially implement after launch.
Yeah, no doubt. As we're literally now at the start of the bull run. I mean, depending on who you listen to, it started a while ago, but I think, we're going to see a lot of new retail coming into the DeFi space. So learning these ins and outs that we all walked through this stuff back in the previous run, definitely going to have some positive trickle effect. The more of these we can get out, the simpler that we can make this onboarding. Totally agree. How does staking DripX help make the investor make more money over time?
So essentially staking, that kind of goes towards that like a deflationary aspect to kind of help regulate the amount of tokens that are in circulation. So you have a couple options which you can choose to do one or the other, or a combination of both once the project is live. So there's many different ways that you can earn within the project. Staking is one of those. Essentially, when we launched the project, you can buy DripX tokens. We talked about using WrapDrip to buy those tokens, and then you can directly stake. The staking is going to pay out BNB rewards. So just like the miners, when you get into the staking pool, you're going to receive shares. So the earlier that you're in, the longer that you decide to stake for will determine the amount of shares that you get. So again, earlier and longer is going to pay better for staking. And then a disbursement payout cycles are going to occur every 8, every 90, or 8, 28, 90, 366, and 888 days. And if you're in those staking pools, if your staking duration, your staking period is within those payout cycles, then you'll receive BNB rewards. So you can do a combination of just buying DripX and deciding to stake it to earn BNB rewards, or you can mine DripX rewards and then stake some of those rewards that you mined, or do a combination of both.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. It's going to be one of these things, like, especially for me, just got to get in and play with it and see what works. So lots of game theory and different mechanics, like you said, from Zen, Titan, lessons you guys have learned along the way. So there's definitely not going to be one size fits all approach to this, especially when you add in the miners and the power and all this stuff. So it seems a little complicated, but I think we'll figure it out once you get in and start clicking some buttons.
And that's one of the cool things about the project I mentioned in a video that I did is, a lot of projects may have 1 or 2 options that you can do. And this one has, 5 or 6 different strategies that you can do. So just depending on the investor, their appetite, what they want to do within the system, they have many different options that they can do, which makes the project pretty cool. It gives it's a strategy game. So it's
Right.
I like to say it's more of chess instead of checkers.
Exactly. My Adobe license popped up.
Time to renew.
Yeah, it ain't happening. I ain't paying for Adobe. you guys, Adobe, if you're watching, I ain't paying. All right. Let's see. Explain how the built-in supply reductions will aid in sustainability and health of the protocol, i.e., decrease rewards, burning, staking, etc.
Yeah, so we talked about this a little bit, but just to go in more detail. So we talked about how each day is going to get a little harder to create miners. Each day, the APRs will get a little, a little less. They won't be as high each day, so those will go down. And essentially, what we're leveraging is over time. There's going to be, heavy adoption at the start. We're providing, crazy APRs, so a lot of people will be excited about that, wanting to get in. There's going to be a high inflation period within that, and then over time, with the buy and burn mechanism, steadily bringing BNB back into the liquidity, that'll strengthen the price of not only Wrap Drip but DripX, and then the rewards over time will decrease, so we won't be paying out as much inflationary rewards, and hopefully over time that'll kind of come to like a gap that will be filled where the price is within a certain range and the rewards are within a certain range where it can kind of be sustainable in that range. So that's the goal over time.
Awesome. All right, we're going to jump back into some of the community questions from the live. Quite a few that have come in now. It's good to see you guys live and engaging for sure. So let's see. When is the audit? When will audit be released by Abu Bakar? Abakar. I probably butchered your name, man. My bad. Mr. Musa.
Yeah, so the audits are something that we've submitted. We're working with going to be working with Rug Free Coins on the audit.
Okay.
That's a how do you describe Rug Free? We've worked with Rug Free in the past. They actually developed a project of ours. We had a game, Aqua Blaze. I don't know if a lot of you guys may have played that game. It's like a casino style game on Post Chain.
Yeah, I saw it. Didn't play it though.
Yeah, so we actually the Rug Free Coin team, they actually developed that. They're a project or a service, I should say, that offers development. They offer audits. They have different like aggregators where you can find tokens and stuff like that and kind of research that. So we're going to be working with them to do our audit. We submitted the contracts to them. So we're hoping to time it up for the launch. So that should be good to go on launch day with Rug Free Coins.
Okay. So basically same day. Think it'll be in the chat before the actual launch, or are you going to just have it on the website?
It depends. Sometimes it's a little bit out of our control on when exactly we would get it back. But as soon as we have it, we'll make it public.
Okay, cool.
So no worries there.
The Animal Farm Marcus want to give you a shout out. She said, shout out to you and the team for the hard work. The community appreciates you. And answering the questions today, DripX will help the best comeback in DeFi history. Nice.
I hope so. That'd be awesome. That'd be an awesome story to tell.
Yep, exactly. I think that's why we're all here. We're literally all, waiting for the finale of this. And at this stage, like I said, being literally at the beginning of a bull run, it's like, well, I ain't tapping out yet. Let's see what happens at the end of this. It ain't written yet. So I think we're all here for the same thing. So John, again, 1% daily returns are canceled. Seems like it's just best for claiming, although price is very low. Yeah, John, you can claim and just hold. There's nothing else you can really do with Drip. You can claim and hold. You can leave it and let it accumulate, or you can claim it and sell it, or you can claim it and wrap it, basically. But it's still kind of holding, in my opinion. So No harm in just claiming it or letting it sit there. You don't lose anything or gain anything from it. Drip Fortune, since started, he said you got the Forex effect since Drip is over 5 cents since it started, and it's been about 20 buys. So you being on the stream, I guess, has pumped some vitality back into the Drip coin.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Let's see what other questions we got. I'll head back over here, and then while you answer this, I'll read the other ones. Let's see. Explain how the built-in supply reductions will. Did I just read that one? Yep, it's a duplicate.
Okay.
All right. What makes DripX different and possibly better than other crypto projects?
Well, I say the first thing is, is the community. That's going to be the biggest thing with just about any project that you get into, is the people that are involved in it. Usually, if you're doing your research and you come across maybe some of the socials and things of that nature, and you're looking into whether or not you want to invest in it, you want to see if there's other people like yourself who are also bullish on the project. So that's one thing that we can kind of attribute to the Drip community. And then we've also had a lot of Titanx members who have caught wind of it as well, and they're interested. So leveraging both of those communities, we've been able to amass about 2,600 members in the Telegram prior to launch. I think another 11 or 1,200 members on the Twitter. So these are really for us, these are good signals from a team aspect, because we've launched other successful projects, and it's no easy feat to be able to get these amount of community members in a group even prior to launch. So that just kind of shows you the power of the community behind it. So that definitely sets the project apart. I can't necessarily say a project is better from one project to another. I guess that's more speculative. I give or perspective of the investor. But we have done some things to make it a little different from its predecessors, like we talked about Titanx. We being inspired by, a lot of people say it's a fork, or you're looking to duplicate the success, or you're looking to follow the exact footsteps or blueprint with Titanx. And so we're not looking to do that at all. We have taken some inspiration with some of the mechanics and how they work. But the team, we're very capable of having our own ideas and thoughts, and being able to pivot and continue to build on to the system. So one thing that is different, that is an alpha drop that we haven't talked about or released yet. Again,
Third
you guys
alpha.
get some alpha on the Drip Coach on the Drip Coach streams, and y'all make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel for getting this alpha. But the miners are going to be NFTs.
Oh, snap.
So what that means is you'll be able to create miners. They'll also be tradable. So you'll be able to sell them on a marketplace.
Oh, wow.
One marketplace that we've used on BSC in the past is Tofu. So it'll probably start off there, but that also gives us potential in the future to build a marketplace on top of DripX.
Oh, wow.
That creates an incentive for influencers, team builders to be able to gift miners to their community members. So you can do engagement activities. Hey, like the video, comment, for a chance to win a miner. Those are some things that are pretty fresh. So that's something that's going to be new and innovative from Titanx onto DripX that we're going to be looking to do. So that's some alpha for you to kind of set things apart.
That is. So I want to dive into that, because I'm not familiar with this too much with the mining. So like, I'm looking at the mining process. You have these different ones. So in the case, and also it gets more expensive as time goes on. So let's just say someone jumps in on day one, is able to get the cheaper miners, and they batch create, it says up to 100 miners simultaneously. You can sell any number of that 100 you might have created, or any more than that, right? You don't sell all of them. It's literally individual NFTs for each miner and each power level you set, right?
Correct. And I'm glad you actually pointed that out, because something that we have been testing with the ability, with the threshold and how many tokens that can come out in a given day, we're likely going to reduce that batch amount quite a bit, so that no one person can create a whole bunch of miners, and then nobody else is able to get miners for that given day. So that's going to that's going to come down quite a bit. We talked about a number, so I believe it's going to be around eight batch miners that you can create. Batch was something that was really good for Titanx because they're on Ethereum, and the Ethereum gas fees. It's not quite as a necessity on BSC because the gas fees are a little cheaper, but it could be a little bit more convenient for somebody that wants to create more. Having to do less transactions, I should say. They can create more miners on a given expiration date through the batching. But through testing, we've seen that we don't need as many. So I'm glad you pointed that out, because we need to update that. But yeah, essentially somebody can buy a cheaper miner. They can say, hey, I want this to expire 90 days from now. And within that 90 days, they could potentially sell that on the open marketplace to somebody else who's willing to, pay the asking price for that miner, and then be able to see what the value of that is, because they may be getting a certain amount of DripX tokens once that miner expires. So that does create a lot of different flexibility within the ecosystem, and also adds another way to earn in the ecosystem, another different revenue stream.
Now, just to play devil's advocate with this, and you with the title Hustle Man, this is definitely a hustle and goes back to the old scalp days. So that's a double-edged sword, right? So there could be people, developers or people that are able to write code that could essentially mine, because it's only per wallet. I'm not mistaken, like 8 per wallet. So if you had a script or whatever, you could actually do more than that and then still scalp those on the secondary market, essentially.
Well, anybody could create as many miners as they wanted. The batch is just creating. What the batch is just you're creating. Let's say you wanted 8 miners or to expire on day 30, rather than having to go in and do a transaction one by one. Yeah, right. The batch just allows you to create all of those at once. So all those miners are going to expire on the same date. So it's just so more of a per wallet thing.
You can do as many as you want.
Right. This is more of a convenience.
Okay. All right. Yep. So that's another kind of arbitrage opportunity, is checking out the tofu secondary market for this. So yeah, that's definitely some alpha and another way to play this for sure, that adds some more game theory. That's going to be very, very interesting. Interesting. All right. Let's see what we had here. This kind of answers JMO's question. So have you heard anything about the Titanx community being aware? So you already mentioned that. So the answer is yes, but of course you don't have like numbers, but looking at the Twitter and the Telegram, seems to be quite a few. So solid.
Just gauging from some of the members in the chat, there are definitely, a few people who are in Titanx. Some of them are supportive, some of them aren't. You'll get that within any crypto Telegram, but there is definitely a little mix in community members there.
Let's see. Breaded Bites. How does Paul, developer, fit in with this project? Who's that?
That's a joke. That's an inside joke.
Okay.
Yeah, we have guys joking in the community. Paul developer. He's just a community member, but he has developer in his name, and he's active in the community. Sometimes make some comments that would question if he's a developer or not. But
I see.
But he's active in the community nonetheless. So,
so he fits in by being active and providing some commentary, I guess, huh?
Correct. Yeah. Definitely keeps the chat going for sure.
Nice. Let's see, what is John saying? Drip Coach said, past video, minting still going in order to pay users. If minting stopped, then users are just claiming drip and taking profits. Is that correct? I wouldn't say they're claiming and taking profits, but they're claiming and then it's minting the drip token because the tax vault is empty. So if what you're asking is this affecting the drip or drip price? The question right now would be no, because nobody's really selling. People are actually buying off the open market, to be honest. But drip tokens are definitely increasing in people's wallets, but the minting is slowing down, as Hustleman Matt mentioned. So we had a spike on the 100th day from when Forex flipped a switch, and that was 2 million. That was the highest we'd seen. And then prior to that, we were hovering around 1 million. And then now we've been hitting 100,000 or so. There was a 400,000 just the other day. So it's still up there, but down dramatically. Let's put it that way. Like I told you guys, if you've been following me, I think we're going to have closer to 300 million drip tokens. We'll see. Let's see. How does DripX help OG Drip? Go back and watch the clip, Marvelous Crypto. That was literally the first question we asked. I'm not gonna go back into that. But that was answered right at the beginning. Dragon ruined Titanx staking. Is the team going to stay far away from any protocol that would ruin the DripX staking protocol?
Yeah, so I know that's something, again, with Titanx, there's a lot of people who we're excited about different protocols, building on top of Titanx. And with that, a lot of people are asking, are we going to do some of the same things or following the same footsteps of other projects developing on DripX? So I guess the easy answer would be no, we're not necessarily looking to do some of the same things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that somebody else couldn't develop for DripX, or that the team isn't going to do something in the future for DripX. I did participate within the staking for Titanx, so I understand a little bit, what went on with DragonX. DragonX essentially became like a whale within the staking system, which basically they consumed a lot of the ETH rewards in that regard. And those ETH rewards were supposed to be used to help buy back the Titanx token, which would also help the DragonX token. One thing that I saw with that is it diluted a lot of the member stakes. I had a stake in there as well, so that diluted some of my value in there because I couldn't compete with that well. One thing that I saw happen that we wouldn't do if someone wanted to develop a project similar, was that we saw Titanx actually gift a lot of Titanx tokens to stake with DragonX, which further diluted the stakers. So that's something that we wouldn't do as a team, but that doesn't necessarily prevent somebody else wanting to create a protocol to build on top of DripX to do something similar.
Right, because essentially it is a new token, and as you mentioned, it will pay out rewards in an inflationary, albeit a little more sustainable way. But the TLDR for all of you degens out there, it's just essentially a meme token, so it has no value in and of itself, and the team is allowing it to be created and then tied to other things to give it value. So if someone were to purchase a bunch of it and or create miners to mine a bunch of it, then yeah, they could take that and then create a different protocol. But the benefit, like Matt just said, is that they would be actually investing in the system to do so versus just being gifted it and diluting the value. So nothing stops anybody from building on the blockchain for existing contracts. Basically, that's the whole point of it.
Yeah, and another benefit of other people, and there's also, we've seen it already, as more people develop for Wrap Drip, which helps the Wrap Drip price, that'll also benefit DripX as well. So there's an incentive for people to build for Wrap Drip also.
Exactly. We'll go back to Animal Farm Marcus. Does DripX have a UI or website live already?
No, it doesn't. Right now, the only thing that is live is the white paper. Once we launch, we have a domain. The domain will be dripx.win. So that domain will be populated with the DApp once we launch. Yeah,
I remember looking into that, trying to see. I saw when it was purchased, I was like, this has got to be it. And it's also in the Twitter. But yeah, there's nothing there yet.
Yeah.
All right, back to John. Drip Coach, Forex still owns the keys. If this is true, couldn't he remove the liquidity of Drip tokens? No. So he owns the keys, meaning he can make changes to the minting functions of Drip and how it pays out, things of that nature. But he doesn't own the keys in regards to like there being a liquidity pool that he can pull from that I'm aware of. Hustleman Matt knows more about code, but there's not like a large amount of drip tokens just sitting anywhere. And from my understanding, the tax vaults, you can't pull from that either, correct? That's the only place where drip tokens would be collected at.
There's Pancake Swap, so I'm not sure. If he provided the liquidity to
right,
yeah, he could take it if he wanted to, unless he burnt those LP tokens or something in that regard. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I have not looked into that either. Good point. I forgot to think about that. So yeah, I'm not sure. I doubt he would do that though, John. Reference that. The only thing Forex would do would be to develop a quote unquote bullish opportunity for drip. He wouldn't just go pull liquidity from that. I wouldn't worry about that at all. That's not in his nature, but his implementations may not be the best for the community, but he's not going to, at this stage, in my humble opinion, pull liquidity. When DripX take over the world of mankind. Didn't understand English. Let's see. All right, let's go back to the questions here because we're about to wrap it up. Let's see. Here we go. Now we get into some more deeper dives. How does DripX address the Ponzi-nomics of the DeFi space? So this ties into this one, and I think this question here. How has DripX resolved the issues we've seen in recent dApps like Carol, Warren, bank runs, liquidity drains, mass token exploits?
Yeah, so in regards to like Ponzi-nomics and things like that, I guess it's subjective. I guess it depends on what your definition of Ponzi-nomics is, right? We're going to be paying out high rewards, so we have to understand. One thing that I like to talk about is expectations and what you're getting into. So we've talked about offering high yield, heavy inflation. Some may consider that to be Ponzi-nomics, quote unquote. I call it DeFi.
That would be Ponzi-nomics.
So it's the nature of the beast. That's kind of what our audience is looking for.
Right.
The people that we are marketing for, they're looking for, potential to make crazy gains. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's something that we're maybe looking to address, more so embracing it in a way, giving opportunity to people to be able to, get these type of rewards and these type of benefits. And then, like I said, I like to tell people, you have to set proper expectations. You have to understand what you're getting into. You have to do your own research. You have to be comfortable with what you're investing in. You have to take responsibility for what you're investing in, and ultimately, getting in early. I was a day one investor in Drip. So my story is a little different from somebody who bought, down the line. I might have a success story, and Drip might have been the greatest thing in the world to me, but someone else may have lost, a lot of money, and they maybe have leveraged more money than they should have, and maybe they have some resentment towards, the Drip token. So, it's like I said, it's perspective on the different investors, but I think with the proper expectations and understand what you're getting into and having conversations like these and AMAs like these, you can kind of have a better, awareness of what you're getting into. And ultimately, we're providing, an opportunity to our investors, trying to make it as fair as possible. We haven't did any like pre-sales or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about people maybe dumping on you or something like that. We're given a fair opportunity for everyone at the start, and then you just have to, take the risk if you're willing. Assess your risk tolerance on what you're willing to do and what you're willing to invest.
Yep, I like that. Makes perfect sense. Yeah, it's semantics to me. Ponzi-nomics, DeFi, like that is well. I actually talked to forgot a couple people on my Telegram about this. So like, we technically don't really have real. I can't say we don't, but there's very few real DeFi projects out there, i.e. decentralized, owned by the blockchain, renounced keys, nobody's forward facing and managing things. Even like Uniswap, which is a great decentralized exchange, it's still got, some DAO governance and copyrights and things of that nature that actually govern it or take care of it. So most stuff in DeFi has a lot of people or groups or teams that actually control it. So I guess in a way, say again?
I was going to say with that kind of speaking on what you're mentioning there with like Uniswap, DeFi and these protocols, a lot of things change fast. So you have to be able to, be able to adapt. I can kind of, like, analogy would be like an iPhone, for instance. The technology for an iPhone 7 is a lot different from the newest iPhone that we have now. So sometimes when you relinquish those keys and, like, you make it fully decentralized, sometimes you kind of you may shoot yourself in the foot in some aspects from a developer standpoint. So that's why you see, even like somebody like Forex or something, if he wanted to develop something on Drip, that's his right to be able to do that. And, having that control and that power to be able to do so allows you to make those updates. If things were to happen in the system, I've seen oftentimes, like with projects where something happened, they needed to do a migration, and it's a very painful migration period to update to new contracts and things like that. So, these are some things that, as a team that we've learned from and experienced from, and, we leverage that to be able to make the proper updates when needed, if needed. So that's kind of, why you see very few projects that are, 100% fully decentralized with no control. Yeah.
Right. I totally agree. But I just want, like, my audience to understand that that's the both sides of the coin, because on the one hand, like you mentioned, it can make it hard to upgrade, can cause issues, but at the same time, that gives the trustless environment that the user is looking for. Now, granted, the DApp may suck, it could need some changes, but you have the trustlessness of it being out there, locked, can't be changed, even if a change would be bullish. It's just like, okay, we got to start over from scratch. Then on the flip side, if you have developers, even good ones that want to do right, they can make changes and end up breaking the protocol. So it goes both ways. You can't have one without the other. And then the user has to decide, well, which is better? Do I want things left alone, completely trustless, or am I going to leverage the adaptability of a team that's done well and hope that they continue with these home runs or whatever the case may be? But that's all I wanted to clarify, is that, like, yeah, there are very, very few true DeFi projects. So since by that definition, I would say most of these, for me, run under that Ponzi-nomic like structure, because we're essentially creating money out of thin air and using the hype and speculation to eventually add utility after projects launch and things of that nature. So like you said, though, that's your expectations. That's also the nature of the game. That's what most people in the space are looking for. If they wanted to just farm blue chips, then they'd be somewhere else. So they're here because of that. But you need to also realize what that means. That's what I'm kind of trying to stress after my 2 years of the shitstorm we just got through. So I've changed my tune a bit. Be like, hey, man, be aware how this game is actually played. All right. So I think I had one more up here, and then I'll go back to the community questions and we'll wrap it up maybe in like 10 minutes. What are the details on staking? Is there an option to early terminate a stake with a penalty?
So there won't be a early in-stake penalty. So, that's one thing that you want to make sure that you understand when you do go to stake your DripX tokens, that whatever date that you choose to stake it, it's going to be locked in for that amount of time. I think we have it up to 3,500 days that you can stake for. So that is essentially kind of like burning your tokens with no expectation on necessarily getting those back. But, again, the way the system is structured, the longer you stake, the higher opportunity you have for receiving more B rewards. So that's something to keep in mind. So there won't be a early in-stake feature. However, just to kind of combat with some of the inflation, we do want people to be tapped in, so to speak, with their stake. So after a certain period of time, if you don't claim your stake after it expires, it'll start to decay. So you want to make sure once you do select that time that you are engaged with the protocol, tap in, claim those DripX tokens back after your stake has expired. Right. That way you don't receive a decay in rewards.
Yeah, I like that. Definitely that would have saved some previous protocols, people just coming back and dumping their tokens after they tapped out for, a couple years.
Exactly.
All right. And this last one, you touched on this at the very beginning. So this is back to the don't trust but verify side of things for me. So can you give us a rundown of you said your projects are still running, but have you had any issues, any exploits, any changes that resulted in unfavorable outcomes, liquidity drains, any of these recent problems we've seen from other dApps and developers in the space in the past year and a half? How have your projects fared?
So it's been a progression. Our first project was one called the Bandit Project. It's still running. The biggest thing, I guess, the biggest hurdle on that one was adoption. So it didn't get a lot of adoption, it being our first project. We leveraged that to start to build our audience. We developed another project called BurnSwap. It had a little bit more adoption, but not as much as we would have liked. So what we did eventually with BurnSwap, we basically kind of dissolved it. We took some of the members that were still staked in it, and we leveraged their stake, and we gave them credit in our most recent project, PulseDrip, which did really well. So a lot of people who were in BurnSwap got credit in PulseDrip. PulseDrip did I think it overall at its all-time high, did a 50x from launch. We've launched quite a few different, I guess you could say, projects within the project. So it's like a whole ecosystem. It has 3 tokens. H2O also did a 50x from launch. T-Drip did I think a 15 or 20x at its all-time high. So we've launched 3 tokens within that. We have the Garden protocols, which at its peak we had 200 or 2 million TVL that was in amongst all the different Garden protocols that we have on Pulse Chain. We also have the kitchen sink on the BSC side, which holds quite a bit of supply in drip tokens. I know we've burnt over, I want to say close to 2 million tokens. What does it say there?
Over 2 million.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. I think we have maybe 13 million right now in the TVL on drip. Somewhere around 350 BNB locked in that contract right now, somewhere around there. So over, probably a couple hundred, maybe a couple 100,000, 150, 200,000 locked into the TVL on the kitchen sink. So these are some of our more recent projects. Again, as we've been in the space and developed more of a reputation within the community, each project has been a little bit more successful than the next. So that's kind of led us up to this point where, DripX could be our best project yet as a team. We have a lot of people excited about it. Our Telegram is bigger than any of our other Telegrams have been prior to launch. So that's a good sign as well. And, we're excited on delivering, a bullish dApp for the people, for the audience, deliver on what they would like to see.
Definitely. Yeah. Appreciate the rundown and letting people know, what you guys have done and how you've adapted to the space and stuff like that. And, what the projects, how they've been and how they are currently. And I definitely see the development from you guys over the last year and a half. So I'm looking forward to this myself for sure. Let's jump back over to the community. Let's see, gadgets. To understand entering in DripX will benefit WrapDrip and also Drip or not necessary. Yeah, they work together synergistically. So if you want to participate, go ahead.
One thing we didn't really talk about all the way, we mentioned it, but with us being on WrapDrip and a lot of BNB, we're going to be providing a lot of liquidity to WrapDrip. With WrapDrip being fairly new token with low liquidity and in reference to like a drip token, that's going to create a lot of opportunity where we can see some price appreciation. We're starting to see that right now already. People are starting to get ready for the DripX launch and people are buying WrapDrip. So we're seeing that price go up in value a little bit. So as we launch, that price will continue to go up because we're providing liquidity to WrapDrip. So what that means for the people who have the drip tokens, they're going to see, hey, I have higher value if I were to wrap my tokens. So essentially someone could take their drip, they can wrap it and instantly get a higher value for their drip tokens that they hold. And then with WrapDrip, they have the flexibility to be able to move around and do different things with it tax-free. So there is a 10% tax from the drip token to wrap it. And then once you have wrap drip, you can participate in other developments, games. You can participate with buying DripX. So those are some things that you can do. There's also going to be a little bit of arbitraging. So some people may say, hey, I can take my wrap drip and sell it for BNB. Now, those people are now out of drip. They've pretty much liquidated their position in drip. So once they do that, they're out. What they would need to do is buy back into drip. So if they sold for BNB for a profit, they're out, and they want to buy in for a cheaper price, then they have to buy the drip token back, which will again increase the value of the OG drip token, which will increase the value of the wrap drip token, along with it. So there'll be some arbitraging.
Oh yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of BNB. There's going to be a lot of volatility to start, but it's going to be very exciting to see, how things level out, how things come into play. But that's how we'll be helping the drip token. So it's not a direct way that we'll be helping it, but I guarantee you, once people see the value of wrap drip increasing, they're going to want to arbitrage, they're going to want to trade, they're going to want to get into DripX, they're going to want to create passive income opportunities. So that's how we're going to be helping the drip token.
Yep. Well, I do say it does directly help, because without this ecosystem, without wrap drip, without the community building, there is no helping the drip token. Like without it, it just doesn't exist. It would just continue to have sold off essentially. So I think you guys are directly helping it by this migration to essentially a drip 2.0 with this wrap drip foundation. So it's going in the right direction for sure.
We keep the train going.
Exactly. Graylin Jones, will we be able to see the website before launch? Matt mentioned that earlier. It'll be live the day, like in the Telegram. So the website's already been purchased, dripx.win, but nothing's there, and it won't be there until probably once you guys do your 1 hour stream and release the contracts, right?
We may do a sneak peek. We're still playing with the testnet, so we had the DApp up on testnet. Still testing things up to the final minute. So we may do a sneak peek. No promises yet, but that might be something. Definitely, I could say prior to launching that VC will probably do a overview of how you can, what to expect, at least as far as creating the miners and stuff like that. So there'll be some time, at least an hour or so of time where you'll be able to watch the recording of that and kind of understand what it'll look like, how to get started, that type of deal.
Awesome. Cole Bastion, where does the BNB that is used for payouts come from? So I think we touched on that already. Yeah,
it comes from the miners, people creating miners.
Yep. So it's kind of call it like taxes, essentially. You're taking a cut of that.
Yeah, it's a distribution basically of the miners.
That was miners are NFTs. Yep, that is awesome. We touched on that. May I ask the only way to get in the DripX with wrap drip or also with BNB?
So the only way that you'll be able to buy it is through wrap drip, because that's going to be the liquidity. We were talking about, we had a team meeting earlier today. We were talking about if Pancake Swap will route it for you. So that might be a possibility just for convenience, where you may be able to swap BNB into DripX and then Pancake Swap route it for you. Not sure if that's going to be 100% or not, but easiest way is going to be able to have wrap drip. It's going to be less price impact, because that's what the liquidity is going to be backed by.
Yep, makes sense. Can we NFT our stakes too?
Potentially. I didn't want to mention, because I'm not sure based on how we're coding it, if the stakes are going to be transferable or not. There's a chance that they will be. They are going to be NFTs, but they may or may not be transferable.
Alpha 3.5, so maybe. Lots of alpha drops. So you guys got to go back and listen to all that stuff. Omar, is it possible that drip price will hit $1 in the future soon? Anything's possible in DeFi, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with wrap drip. I think wrap drip has the potential to do it.
Yeah. I saw it's not there anymore. I was trying to pull it up. So I made a video, and it was on the Pancake Swap version too. Wrap drip had hit $20 because somebody, I don't know what they did with arbitrage or something like that. Yeah, but it's not here anymore. Yeah. So it's cleaned itself up off of Dex Tools, but it was here, and I was like $20, man. Because I think that's the pool with the least amount of liquidity in it. Yeah, right now, $620. So it's going to be interesting. I think that's it. Fair comment, tight next gift. Drop the link. Yeah, could somebody drop the link for DripX Telegram in the chat? If not, I'll try to do it at the end of this. Actually, I can't do it on this screen because I'm not signed in. So somebody else can share that if I don't have links turned off. Let me pull it up real quick so you can actually see it.
I think it's at DripX Win on Telegram. Yeah. You'll be able to find it.
Yep, DripX Win. There it is right there. And if not, go to the DripX Twitter. You should be able to get it as well in case somebody doesn't drop it in the chat.
Yep.
And that's it, man. Drip is up 6% in 1 hour. That's cool. Appreciate that.
Wow.
What's the timeline for launch? Okay, Bashkin, the timeline for launch, Matt mentioned, will be check back in about 10 to 11 o'clock Eastern into the Telegram, and then potentially somewhere between 11 to 1-ish, they will have something in the Telegram. Is that correct, Matt?
That's correct. So the launch is going to be on February 22nd. That's this coming Thursday. I would just say stay tuned with the chat. You know, as we get a little bit closer with the next day or so, we'll put a countdown timer for convenience in there so people kind of have a understand. I know these questions have been coming up every day, so I'm sure it's not going to be the last time that it's asked. So I would just say, keep in tune with the Telegram chat, what's going on. And we plan to launch on Thursday within that time frame.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate it, man. We got through all the questions and a lot of community questions. We had at the peak about 97 people tuned in for lunch, I guess. So you dropped some major alpha, so I definitely appreciate that. You taking the time and going through a couple of the headaches of me learning how to stream and get this set up. We lost you 2 or 3 times, but everybody stayed tuned in, so that's all good.
Yeah, it's cool, man. This is a great turnout. Glad to be able to get some community feedback and answer some questions. So I appreciate the platform allowing us to do it.
Appreciate it, Matt. And appreciate you all for stopping in. Oh, hello, we got Drip to Wealth. What up, KK? He jumped into the building.
KK in the building.
Yep. All right. So we'll be signing out. Thank you, guys. Check the stream if you're looking for the alpha. I'm going to lie. I ain't going to put no timestamps in here, man. I'm too lazy for that. I was going to tell you guys. You guys know me, man. I just get on and talk, and that's it. So I ain't going back editing no videos and no nothing, man. Raw and uncut. So you want to find the alpha, you got to go back and watch the whole damn thing.
Get those views up.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man.